This, it's nature. And this, it's a very outdated Kia Ceed. And we are going to take a look at it, drive it, and you're gonna find out why this car pretty much disappointed more than impressed, because I never drove this car, but I was really curious to drive it because it looks beautiful, or at least I thought that before. But yeah, once I drove it, I realized it doesn't drive the way it looks. It looks like a basic car, I would say. The problem is, I think that Kia, so this is the model since 2018, which is a long time ago to not get an upgrade or some, I don't know, a facelift or something, or like a big change, should I say, because it's just outdated. It looks, yeah, it looks okay. Might be a taste thing. I think I like the front more than the back. You've got these banana looking LEDs. The front bumper I think is pretty, let's say, aggressive. It has some nice shapes, also with some vents here that are not fake. But overall I think the front looks nice. I like the Kia logo. I always liked the Kia logo. One thing that really somewhat annoys me, it's what's the thing with reshaping the windshield, just make it straight. Like, yeah, maybe it has some advantages, but yeah, I don't know. The wheels are, yeah, standard 17-inch on winter tires. Yeah, the back, as I said, is really hard to describe it because there's nothing special about it. Let's check out the trunk, because the trunk is really huge. So this is a big plus. You have a lot of space. So it's just, yeah, very much space and different compartments and everything. This is just, it's really great. You've also got a net to protect your things. And slide forward. This is not electric, so blah. You have to use your hands. Okay, let's just hop inside, because the interior and the whole driving had a more impact on my opinion. Hi. So, this is the key. It's pretty simple. I like that these buttons are on the side. At first I didn't like it, but it's pretty comfortable to click them. No button, no start button, so you have to really just, like really old school, insert the key and turn it. One surprise I had was that you don't even need, this car is so old, you don't even need to press the brake to start the car. So yeah, you just turn the key and it starts, which I think is really, yeah, I mean, it's not dangerous, but it's a good feature to have. The interior, it's very simple, very old, I would say. The seats are, yeah, it's just a normal material, a basic material. This is everything like a pretty hard plastic. Nothing really. The steering wheel feels nice. You don't have so much storage room, if you ask me, because yeah, this is a pretty big bottle, but okay. So this is small. Like, okay, even if the big bottle doesn't fit, this is pretty small. You've got two cup holders. Here a place for the key, or not for the key, because the key has to be inside. So yeah, just to put something in there. Here you've got another place, another storage place, and here you got a place for your phone. Also here, this is, yeah, it's all right. I mean, you can fit everything you need in your car, maybe here. One thing I could say I enjoy about this interior, it's this part. For this kind of things, for like the heating and everything, I like having buttons instead of the touch screen, because yeah, it's really annoying. The buttons you can feel, you can just press them. These are also nice. It's easy to set the temperature. Also heating, steering wheel heating, everything. This is nice. I love this because it's just simple and easy to use. It's like user friendly. So let's go, because all the other points are mostly by driving or this infotainment system, which is really complicated to use. If you are driving and you want to, any setting that you may need to do while driving, just don't do it, because it's just really complicated. You have to a lot of things. If you want to deactivate something, you get like this whole text. Like, why would you write something like this or so much? Because you can't look at it. You have to drive and you have to pay attention to the road. So this is just, you have to really set up everything before you start driving. The lane assist I'm gonna leave on because it is always on a start. But I want to show you something, and then I'm going to turn it off because it's really annoying. Another thing, the beeping for the speed. Even if you're not speeding, the moment you get to the speed limit, like let's just drive off. So let's say you drive like on a normal road, you drive 50, okay? The moment you hit 50, the exact moment it starts beeping, which is really annoying. I mean, okay, you are not speeding, but you're driving the speed limit. And it just starts beeping, it never stops. It stops, but as soon as you drive like for a second under 50 and then above, it just starts beeping again. The whole assist features, like the collision warning, lane keeping and everything, is just really bad. I don't know if it's just this car or if this is a general thing with Kia, but like you're just driving on the road and it picks up some shadow or something and the car starts braking and yelling, yeah, collision warning, this and that. And it just happened in a period of like 500 kilometers. It happened a lot. Like when driving in the city, it was just a continuous problem. This car is very lazy when you drive off. So like you press on the gas and it takes ages to drive off. But as soon as it goes, it's really okay. So this is not a good example for the lane assist, but if you're driving on the highway, you have to really keep your car centered in the lane, because as soon, I mean, you're not even close to the white lines, but as soon as you start driving a little bit to the lines, the system just starts counter steering. You are constantly fighting the system, which actually has to keep you safe. And that is why I just hold on this and deactivate it, because it just spares a lot of energy. So driving feel, it's when driving like on the Autobahn or B roads, the car feels nice. I like the gearbox. It's really fast, so it changes gears like crazy. You have a good feel on the gas, but on braking, it's a really weird feeling. You feel the car braking as soon as you press on the pedal, but then for some reason it just, when you keep the same pressure on the brake, it just starts at some point to brake harder, which I don't really understand why. Because you maybe want to brake like from 100 to 70 and then you go like slowly on the brake and you lift off again slowly to like get on 70, but it doesn't do that. It brakes and you just have to go off the brake and it just stops braking. Yeah, so you can do that like really smoothly. I'm a fan of smooth driving, smooth braking and accelerating. So maybe that's just a thing for me personally, but yeah, it's a thing I noticed. So I said I like the gearbox on the B roads and on the highway, like not at low speeds, because at low speeds it does a pretty terrible job. Driving in the city with this car, it's a nightmare, or at least for me, because it's just, It's so shaky. The gearbox is just like, it has no idea what it's doing. It's changing gears like crazy, and driving off is really annoying. And it feels like, it almost feels like you're driving a manual, even though you're in an automatic for some reason. Because it just, you don't have the immediate response, and you can't drive off like directly when you want to drive off. Another minus would be the seats, because how should I put this? They are like really, it's like sitting on a wooden chair, because yesterday I had to drive like 250 kilometers, and my back after those 200 kilometers, 250, was like, yeah, was like hurting a lot. Compared to other cars, was like terrible. And my passengers also agreed on this, so it's not just my opinion. The steering feels really nice. It feels direct and smooth. I don't even know how to describe this car, because it's for sure not a fun car to drive. It's not an interesting car. It's just a really simple car for like driving around in the city and doing chores. And yeah, you have a wagon for maybe picking up some bigger things sometimes. But I'm really not impressed by this car. I think this car really needs a new model, or like an upgrade or something, for everything, like for the exterior, for the interior, a new refreshed look, and also like taking care of those driving assist things. Kia, if you watch this. Also, another really annoying thing about the seats is that you can't adjust the angle for the bottom side of the seat. For me, for example, in my sitting position, after driving like maybe half an hour, a part of my foot just goes numb because of this position. And I tried setting up like my seat differently, but it doesn't help. One good thing, of course, is just a 1.5 liter engine with a turbo. And the consumption is pretty low. Driving just on the Autobahn, an average speed of maybe 140, 150. I had a consumption of 7.7 liters, which is pretty low, if you ask me, for that speed, and the petrol engine. So besides the fact that this car is not comfortable, it does a pretty great job when it comes to driving, or at least for the Autobahn. I mean, it's not fast, but it's enough. And it's got like 140 horsepower, and those horsepower combined with this fast gearbox do a pretty great job together. So now let's just take it for a drive on the highway and see how the cabin noise and just how it handles. As I said, I drove it yesterday and I was pretty impressed how it handles high speeds. Once you go 130, 140, 150, 200, the car just really sits well. Let's put it in the rocket mode, sport. So it doesn't have a sport mode for the gearbox. Yeah, just, I mean, for 140 horsepower, it does a pretty good job. It's also pretty light, like 1.3 tons. So you are immediately to 180, 190. Yeah, and as I said, it's really safe. You feel really safe, like even driving 200. Also, when you go from the gas on the brake, the car doesn't move. It's just sticking to the road. and you can see what I meant about the gearbox. There may be a small delay for when the car starts going, but that's coming from the engine, because the gearbox immediately goes like 2 gears down, but the engine takes like half a second maybe to react. But if we get the chance, we'll see that in a minute. 140, let's just see, 7th gear, floor, 4th gear, and now it goes. Yeah, this guy doesn't like to move, so yeah, okay. So it's really decent. Also the cabin noise, it's pretty loud. I mean, you have to, I hope you can hear me good, but if you're in the car and if you're just driving like 200 and want to chat with your passenger, you have to talk pretty loudly. The Mercedes guy making place for the Kia. That's uncommon. The top speed is, I think, around 197. It would be GPS, but I think it does a really great job reaching like the top speed or overall highway driving. It's a pretty good experience, other than the comfort, which is not present. Let's try to put a verdict on this car, but this is a pretty hard part, because I don't really know how to sum it up. Before driving this car, I was really impressed by its looks. The expectations by the way it looked were pretty high, but then I didn't really get what I expected. It could be because this is a pretty old model, let's say, like this car is built in 2025, but the model since 2018, that definitely could be the reason why it really doesn't feel appealing. Everything looks old school, like it doesn't feel like a car in 2025. It feels like more like a car in 2018 era. But for some reason it did not evolve until now. Maybe a new model will come someday. It is not comfortable. The menu it's really complicated and not at all user-friendly. The steering is nice. The braking is weird. The acceleration is nice. The gearbox, it's really good. Other than low speeds, like besides of driving off in the city. The engine is enough, I think. 140 horsepower for this weight, and overall it's enough. 4 cylinders, low consumption, the power is enough. That should sum it up pretty good. Then I would say this was it for today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.